Hey, this is Josh with the Linux 210 going over the final project. We're going to go over the first part, which is we picked file sharing. It was file sharing or um, web server roles. We're going to go with file shares. So we're going to show that the service is installed. Obviously, we can see we kind of skipped ahead a little. We got the desktop version installed on here. We will show how to switch back and forth between the command console and the desktop version. But going back to file shares, so we're going to show the service status. So we got Samba, which is the SMB daemon, running active in the background, ready to serve connections. So it shows that that service for the file sharing is up and going. And just so we can see the config file, we have our server set up, and then everything at the bottom is going to be um, our home path for our Samba share folder, set to read only no, browsable yes. We're going to force the user, which is the Deason user, and guest okay no. Um, so where you would go to access this is you'd go to your normal file and you'd go SMB and then your IP address. So the IP address for this device would be 215 and then home JDson Samba share. So it's going to ask you for authentication. We're going to go with the registered user. And we would log in here. It's not going to work because we're trying to log in on the same machine instead of a different client. So it will kick us back an error with no mount on that. All right, we're going to go over the users and groups from the organization chart. So this is the organization chart here. So starting from Carrie Schumacher and go through the different departments of admins, operations managers, and whatnot. So we're going to show the users and groups that we have set up here. Um, so we're going to go down. We're going to look for the original user account that we use to set up the system. That is me. And then we got the CEO, C. Shoemaker. Um, and then all the way down, we got Williams, Lloyd, Beatty, long list of stuff, and that's pretty much going to stop right there. So that'll show the different users. If we want to know a particular um, users groups that he belongs to, so we have one like Mr. Hong. There we go, and that'll show Brian Hong, and he belongs to Brian Hong. He belongs to infrastructure and service desk because he belongs to two different groups. All right, so we can see in our virtual machine, we're going to go over our section for the additional 40 gig file system mounted on data 1. So we can see here that we have a VDI partition for 40 gigabytes. If we go over to our machine here and we go ls blka, we can see we have SDB as a 40 gig partition, and it's mounted in data 1. If we go to mount also, we can see here that SDB is on mount data 1 with type ext4. Okay, so now we can see in our virtual machine we have a second network adapter installed here. So we're going to go back to our ifconfig A. So we can see our original adapter here at the top. This is the new one we installed. Coincidentally, right now they have the same IP address. So now we're going to change this to a static IP address. So we're going to do for this adapter right here. So we're going to do ifconfig. Oops. For that adapter. And the syntax goes like this: sudo ifconfig the adapter and then the address. So what we're going to do is, whoops, go back to the right place, add our sudo in, ifconfig for that adapter, and we're going to change to 10.03.16. Oh, I guess that's a 215 and a 315. So let's change that to 216. Now if we go back to ifconfig again, Man, I can't type today. SHA, and we can see here now our second adapter is 10 to 16. Um, we can also go through the network mask, broadcast ID, anything that we want to change in that nature using the IF config. All right, so now we get to see the little trick to go between the GUI interface to the command interface. So we got Control Alt F3. So now we're back here. Let's go and clear all this out, and we're going to log out so we can see our new message. So we're going to go back in. So Deason password. And we can see our welcome message there at the top, which says welcome to Josh's Ubuntu server final project. All right, we're going to go over how to set up the MOTD file. So we're going to go to change directory to the MOTD directory. We're going to go ls, la, so we can see the different scripts. So we modified the O. There we go. So now we can see our script. So you're going to want to start off with that hashtag exclamation point mark, excuse me, bin sh, and then echo back what you're going to want to reply back. You can put stuff in between. You can have it pull certain system information, but this one we just have it saying welcome to Josh's Ubuntu server final project. So when we go back out, clear, log out, back in. You can see it says welcome to Josh's Ubuntu server final project. All right, we're going to go over number 6, showing the restart server every 2 years. So if we go to our server, we're going to do sudo cron tab -e. This is going to bring up our cron file. And at the bottom here, this shows the syntax for it. So we got minutes, hours, day of month, um, and then day of week command. So that's going to be the syntax there that'll equate to every 2 years, and the command, which is the sbin/reboot, which will reboot the system. All right, we're going to go over the number 7 firewall is running and enabled. So we're going to go ahead and show here. We're going to run sudo ufw for the Ubuntu firewall status. It's going to show status active, and we already have policies in there for the Samba file, so it's showing that it's allowed. All right, so we're going to go over update repositories and packages. 2 different ways you can go about it. We can go sudo apt get update, and this will go through updating what you have on the current repositories. There's another way too that you can actually update the lists and do the updates at the same time. So we'll do sudo brain fart apt update. Oh my gosh. And so we can run 2 different commands, sudo apt upgrade. What this is going to do is it's going to update our repository lists, and then after it updates the list, it's going to perform the necessary upgrades. All right, so we're going to go over installing the desktop GUI interface from the command console. So this is our command console now. So what we're going to do is, since we already went through the lengthy process of installing it, we're going to go over the syntax. So the sudo apt install Ubuntu desktop. That's after you update all your repositories and everything. And then it recommends some other installs in between, but we don't. It's not really necessary. It will install just off of that syntax alone. So we're going to go back here, and we have a cool little trick. Control Alt Function F2. It's going to put us right back to our GUI console, so we can switch back between console and the GUI. And now this shows our GUI interface with our installed system. We got our 40 gigabyte console right here, our volume, excuse me, and all our home folders, other locations. Here's our 43 gig volume, which is really 40 gigs, shows there. Now we're going to go over user security and restrictions. So what we're going to do is a big part of it is password security. We're going to change that first. So we're going to do chage, and we can see the different options for chage. So we're going to do a chage, and we are going to do the maximum number of days before password can change. So we're going to do probably give them about 2 months. So we'll give them 60 days. And then we're going to do a minimum number of days before password can change. So we can set that to 10. And then we do want to give them a warning before the password expires. So give them about a week. Anything past a week, you're just getting lazy. And then we're going to change that on a particular user that we don't want to have certain restrictions. They all should have that, but there's going to be a temporary one. It's going to be the student technicians, because those are going to kind of come and go. So we'll do student there we go. Now if we go to the cat Etsy shadow, and go find our student technicians. Now we have our restrictions set at the end of that. All right, another part we're going to look into is, so we're talking about security with user security. So we're going to prevent scripting attacks by limiting the amount of login attempts that can happen. So where we're going to go is we're going to go to Etsy MD. And we see our different files. We can do common auth is the one we're looking for right there. So we're going to go sudo nano common auth. All right, so this is going to bring up our file. What we're going to do is we're going to go add a line here, and we're going to make it an auth line, and we're going to require it. So it's going to be required, and this is going to be for, we look up our proper syntax here. Pam underscore tally 2 SO. And syntax again, we're going to look for, so we're going to allow 3 attempts. We're going to go deny 3. So after 3 failed attempts, we're going to lock this out for a certain amount of time. So we're going to do unlock time. Give it about 300 seconds. So how this reads is authorization is going to be required for our new module for pamtally2.so. We're going to deny 3 login. After 3 login attempts, we're going to lock it out for 300 seconds. And then we would save that. File name to write. And that is saved and good to go.